Fortunate Star is the brand new Solstice bow, and it's got a lot of people talking about it. People are kind of hyped about it, but to me, it's not that great. And if you're thinking about using this weapon, you might want to stick around so we can talk about what it does right, what it does wrong, and whether it's worth your time farming. That being said, if you end up enjoying the video, make sure to smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing, and let's begin. So Fortunate Star has a lot to compete with. For one, it's a void bow, and it's going to be really hard to beat Le Monarch, but even that, we have really good legendary bows, including Nande whatever the fuck, Creation X, and Tyranny of Heaven. And something all those bows have in common is they are a good element. So the biggest problem with void weapons for me is destabilizing rounds isn't worth running most of the time over other options, especially if you're a hunter that can just use Falcons, and Repulsor Brace leaves a little to be desired when you have things like Kill Clip, which I just think are significantly better. Which brings us to the first combo, Repulsor Brace Destabilizing. You can use that if that's your go-to on every single void weapon. You'll like it on this one if you like bows. I don't like bows, and I don't like Repulsor Destabilizing. I'm not going to use it. That's not my perfect god roll. That's not what I'm going to consider the best, but if that's something you like to use, who am I to judge? Go for it, use it. But let's talk about the things that I actually think are decent on this weapon. There are 3 really big perks in that first column, those being Archer's Tempo, Enlightened Action, and Successful Warm-Up. So let's talk about what those combos well with. For one, Enlightened Action is like the perk for Kill Clip because it boosts your reload speed, allowing you to get Kill Clip to proc faster. I feel like the same can be said for both Archer's Tempo and Successful Warm-Up. Successful Warm-Up is procced on kill. You get a kill, you now have a faster draw time, although not a faster reload. And while you can use something like Archer's Tempo to decrease your draw time every time you get a precision hit, it's on precision hit, whereas Successful Warm-Up is based on kills. So if you're getting kills with Kill Clip, might as well go Successful Warm-Up. I feel something like Archer's Tempo, which is just based on precision hits, would be better suited for something that also requires precision hits in that final column. Something like Precision Instrument. While I don't think this damage perk is great, especially on a primary weapon like a bow, it's not good in Crucible, and then in PvE, you're just going to sit there and blink at big health bar enemies. Doesn't really seem worth your time. And while it has good synergy, if I were to use Archer's Tempo, I would definitely recommend Archer's Gambit to go with it. And that's because it's also on precision hit, but it's hip fire precision hits, and it gives you a faster draw speed. And you need to remember that Archer's Gambit is a 0.4 times multiplier for the weapon draw time instead of just a flat number increase, and Archer's Tempo is a 0.75. So even though if you use something like Polymer Strings with a draw time masterwork, you will be getting faster draw time with Archer's Tempo and Archer's Gambit. Any combination of those, you will still get a decreased draw time, something faster than that 540. Let's talk about Air Trigger. You see I'm here using it. Air Trigger really doesn't feel like it does anything on this weapon. I've used it, I've tried using it a bunch like you can see in this footage, and it just doesn't feel like it reloads any faster. I would use something like Enlightened Action over Air Trigger because it feels significantly better. And finally, in that first column, I want to talk about Loose Change. So Loose Change is whenever you apply an elemental debuff, you gain 50 reload speed, 20 aim assist, 20% decrease ADS movement speed penalty. So I thought this would be really good for the Crucible. I tried using it in PvE to see if I could get it to work with suppression on Titan with Greaves, because I know that's a big thing that people ran at one point. It's still good. The only problem is it doesn't work. So your suppression doesn't apply if you kill something, and with Greaves you're always going to kill, so it doesn't work. And Loose Change gave you the fastest reload speed without having to do anything. It can proc with other things like Volatile or Jolt or whatever, but just doesn't proc with this build, so it's really good to use Loose Change with a Falcon Hunter. And now we're looking at the god roll that I settled on, which is going to be Successful Warm-Up Archer's Gambit. You'll see here how fast it shoots in comparison to what you just saw it shooting at, and it's significantly faster. So while Successful Warm-Up and Archer's Gambit are my god roll for PvE, I will mention the other ones that I also think are sustainable. At number 1, we have Successful Warm-Up and Archer's Gambit. Archer's Tempo Archer's Gambit is also a really good choice. You can go something like Enlightened Action with Archer's Gambit or Enlightened Action Kill Clip, and then Hipfire Archer's Gambit for Crucible, just because it makes that hip firing a little bit easier. And the final thing I wanted to discuss here is the TTK in Crucible. So your base TTK, whenever you have a Polymer String and a Draw Time Masterwork with a draw time of 540, sits you at a 1.13 with 2 crits, which is not that great. You can use Golden Tricorn, which will get you to a 2 body TTK. And then you can use other perks to change your TTK, whether it be reload speed or decreasing your draw time. So Archer's Tempo takes you down to a 1.02, Enlightened Action takes you down to a 1.07, Successful Warm-Up takes you to a 0.96, and then Loose Change is going to take you to a 1.07. And you can use Archer's Gambit with a different reload or draw time perk in that first column to make it even faster, but it will require all headshots. So this means that you will have to get a precision hit with Archer's Gambit to keep this going. So your initial hit is going to take slower, so your first kill won't be that 0.8 that I'm looking at right now. It'll be a little different. So this will be after you get your first kill, your first precision hit, whatever. Every enemy after that, as long as these perks are active, it'll be these TTKs, which is what's important when looking at this. So Archer's Tempo with Archer's Gambit, 0.82. Enlightened Action and Archer's Gambit, 0.8. Successful Warm-Up in Archer's Gambit, a 0.79. And Loose Change with Archer's Gambit is a 0.8. So really, you're looking at 0.8s with pretty much everything other than Archer's Tempo, which is kind of surprising. And looking at this, it's actually the easiest one to use. So again, Precision Hit is going to grant you that faster draw time. Precision Hit with Archer's Gambit is going to grant you that faster draw time. So that's really the best combo there. It has the best synergy. I know it's a little slower, but I mean, if you're going to use a bow in PvP, you're already not shooting for the most effective thing you could possibly use. So if you're just trying to have fun, I feel like this is probably your best option. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and if you did enjoy, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. It would really help me out. And comment down below what you think about this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be.